Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen. This tale starts at the beginning, like all good tales. We are going to do a full review, on the CSC TT250. Get in there. Premium, yeah. Yeah, it's a little bit annoying to move this tank bag around when I'm filling it up, but it's worth it so far. You use the tank bag a lot, and I really like it, so yeah, that's a pretty essential mod if you're going to do that sort of thing. I just like it, considering I don't use saddlebags on this thing. Although I may do that in the future. So, yeah, let's get the show on the road, shall we? And she's burned like a gherkin. Yeah. Alright, so a bit about this bike. This is the CSC TT250. It's imported by California Scooter Company, but it's made by Zhongshan, so that means it's a Chinese bike. And a lot of Chinese bikes in the past have had a lot of reliability issues, and basically this seems to be the next batch of Chinese motorcycles. This particular bike, as well as the Hawk 250, seem to be based off of the Honda NXR 160 EROS. Both of those bikes have the same design. However, this one has a counterbalanced engine, and maybe a few of the parts seem to be just a little bit better quality, but still are nowhere near what you're going to get on a Japanese bike. That being said, used Chinese bike parts quite a bit on other bikes. They function just as well, and as long as you're not planning on beating the hell out of it purposely or using it for some sort of competition thing, which I don't know why you would pick this bike for that anyways. There is actually, let's go back up here and see what's, oh yes, the bridge. But pretty much, you know, these parts are interchangeable. They've got a huge supply on eBay, as well as CSC's main website for anything that possibly could break on this bike, as well as parts for the Hawk 250, which are pretty much interchangeable with this bike, since they are pretty much the same design. The biggest difference between this bike and the Hawk 250 is that the Hawk is not 50 state streetable, just because of the way it's titled. I think it's titled as an off-road vehicle when you get your MSO. This bike, you can ride it, register it in all 50 states, was one of the reasons why I bought it. So after buying it from the company, I put 500 bucks down, and that was probably the end of December for the 2018 model. And one of the things, oh yeah, oh that's right, we have to be quiet here. This is the homeless camp area, and look, they had this lovely Chinese food dinner. But they're right over there. That's right. We should get out of here before we get one of them all ornery. Let's just swing this little baby around here. Yeah, that's one of the things I have to do. I have to get. They have for the RX3, which I think the TT also the whatever mount plate or kickstand plate will fit on this as well. Oh yeah, no trespassing. We don't want to do that. No, do we? So yeah, I have to get one of those kickstand plates so that it sinks to the ground. Let's get the hell out of here. Oh yeah, I was talking about buying it, and I think it took about 3 months. I got this at the end of March. Yeah, end of March. And I have a little video to show you how it was actually delivered. It was in a nice little crate and everything. It was really packaged up nice, everything. And of course, I think I dropped it the next day. But it was one of the good things that I did get these bark busters, because they did end up protecting the levers. One thing that did happen though, and it was my own fault, that the bark buster bent the lever, and it was just a tiny little bend, but it was enough to just piss me off. So I went to bend it back, Of course, it's aluminum and it snapped. So I was like, ah, god damn it. And then basically what I had to do is I just switched out the whole brake fluid assembly with my old 1974 CB550. So that's what's on here right now, is the old 1974 CB550 master brake cylinder, because I actually accidentally snapped that because I was kind of pissed that it was brand new and I already broke it. But that shouldn't happen to you if you're not doing stupid stuff like me. One thing that is good, CSC has an unlimited mileage warranty that covers most of the wear parts and stuff, so technically I could have gotten another brake lever and all that stuff. I didn't want to even bother to wait, since it was like the week after I got the bike. I just wanted to ride it, and it pissed me off that I dropped it on a hill and, you know, bent it up. But anyways, that was that. I've dropped it since, and it basically was my own fault for installing the bark busters kind of like not particularly how they're supposed to be. So anyways, that's that. Right now I've got about 450 miles on it, so we're just getting to the 500 mile mark where I'll be doing an oil change. And the biggest improvement to this bike, which I'd say is pretty necessary if you're going to use it as a commuter bike or anything like that. If you're going to use it on a farm or completely off-road, then don't bother, but definitely get a 47-tooth sprocket. That is essential to this bike. It really makes it come alive and makes it 1,000 times more streetable, and you still don't lose like any real torque from the get up and go, even going off-road. Alright, so now let's talk about the drivetrain. Of course, this has some no-name Chinese brand tires and no-name brand chain, which I see a lot of people putting on the 428 chain, which seem to be pretty good. I haven't done it yet. Everything is still stock on this bike, including the tires, which, by the way, I'd like to say the tires on this bike are perfect for novices and like anybody. Like if you're gonna do a supermoto type build, sure, you want to change the tires, but for the average person, these tires are perfectly fine. I haven't had any issues with them. They have enough grip off-road and they're fine on-road. I'll tell you one thing I'm going to miss about Pennsylvania. Not really the greenery, but probably just these hilly mountain places like this. It's just, you know, it's gorgeous any time of year, really. I will miss riding through the trees, but then again, we got Lake Tahoe, so, and actual real mountains instead of these hills. But anyways, let's talk top speed. Now, stock, this bike is supposed to be hitting 60 top speed, and I noticed that without the 47 tooth, you have to shift to 5th just to get down the street, pretty much. This is why I say the 47 tooth is a must, because in cities you can cruise in 4th gear. You don't really need to go into 5th. In 5th, the fastest I've got this up to indicated was 67, but I was drafting a truck, so that was probably, I'm guessing, with the 3% difference, that was probably 60, but that was on a flat with a lot of wind, so I probably could go a little bit faster. And of course, if I lost a little bit more weight too, I could probably go a little bit faster. But then again, this is not a top speed type of bike. Alright, so my final review of this bike is basically, if you need a 50-state streetable bike, or your state that you live in will not register the HOP, I'd say get this bike. If you can't find a dual sport that is cheaper than $2,500 on Craigslist or something, or it looks like it's been too beat up, get this bike. That's the main reason why I got this bike. I didn't want to buy somebody else's dual sport that they had been doing jumps off-road and, you know, trashed it. So that's one of the main reasons. Another thing about this model, for this year, the Speedo is digital, which was another problem that the original models had. Also, the speedometer cable is routed more correctly. There was another issue that they had in the first production bikes with Speedo cable was wrapped really oddly around the disc brake. So, but anyways, all that stuff is fixed now. So yeah, I definitely recommend this bike if you're looking for a cheap entry-level dual sport, if you can't find anything in your area, and if you can't get the Hot 250. The counterbalance motor is basically another thing that you may want to look at that this has that the Honda 250 doesn't have. Also, you also have the CSC 1-year unlimited mileage warranty, which is good. But either bike, you're gonna have to know a little bit about bikes when it comes to servicing. It's just the fact that it's like riding motorcycles. You have to know a little bit, and don't be afraid to get your hands dirty. But other than that, stay with it. We'll be in Nevada in a month, hopefully, and we'll be making some pretty cool videos out there in the desert. Peace!